Shelley, welcome to the GROUPEX podcast. It's good to have you on the show.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here as well. Thank you for the invite.
No, I'm excited to get to know you and your skill set as well with relation to GROUPEX. So there'll be probably people that are watching that may not know who you are, seeing as though we do go worldwide, and it still freaks me out when I say that, but there are people watching from all over the world. So can you let us know a little bit about you and how you got into GROUPEX management?
Yeah, sure. Do you want the short version or the long?
I'll leave that up to you. You go your version, and I'm sure we'll go from there.
Let's do a shortcut of the long. So when I was at school, I was an absolute sport nut. I did everything that I could. I was doing it in PE lessons, lunchtimes, after school, weekends, competitions. And then once I finished high school, where I was unfortunately bullied the whole time. I did want to pursue that, but most of my bullies were in that A-level class. So I decided to go down the art route, which led me to work in photography. And the short answer to that is photography wasn't where I wanted to be, and I really, really missed the fitness. So I quit, became certified as a fitness instructor, and then it kind of snowballed from there. So I was very, very fortunate and lucky that one of my first roles in a gym, they offered me group fitness. So I ended up being an aqua instructor, a body combat instructor, and a Zumba instructor within the first 6 months of being in that gym, which was just incredible. I'd always been a body combat nut anyway, and I love my dancing. So that was just the icing on the cake for me. Not only being back in the fitness industry, but obviously doing what I loved and getting certified in what I loved as well. And again, then I went from basically not job hopping, but job upgrading into full-time roles, which include obviously both group fitness and gym, and then kind of fell into the gym or group fitness management side of things, I guess, on a very small scale on the first occasion, where in a very elite, I'd like to say, a health club in a hotel environment.
Oh, wow.
I was asked to coordinate their timetable. So that's what I started doing, and that's how I started. Obviously, it was very small scale and a smaller team. But that's kind of where it started. And then I upgraded again into a university sports centre where I was coordinating the timetable there and supervising like sports courts, gym, studios. And then I moved to Australia, and here I am. So.
I love it. You've said a couple of things there which have triggered my head. Photography. Go back to photography for a second. I say that because that was when I left school. That was my passion. Getting into photography before I'd even found the fitness industry. But that was one thing that I remember spending a crap load of money on an amazing camera and got out there and then realised that I was quite crap at it. I'd had this passion for wanting to do it, and I probably should have gone and done my training and courses and all that kind of stuff. But I was like, hey, I can do this. It's just point and shoot, isn't it? Wait for it, go. What did you start off shooting? Did you have certain things you were doing? Did you specialise in something with your photography?
No. So from my art, I did a degree in photography, and that was very artistic. I also feel like we were the guinea pigs for that course. And they were just kind of trialing things with us. So when I left, at that time, there wasn't, where I lived, much opportunity in photography. So I ended up in doing school photography, which is obviously taking pictures of hundreds and hundreds of kids on a daily basis, which I actually didn't mind because you had to travel a lot. I was obviously every single day going to a different, what we would call over here, suburb. I actually can't remember what we call it over there, but it's not suburbs. And even counties. So I was going south of London, which was like up to 3 hours travel for me, to all these different schools. So although it was very dynamic, it wasn't really what I wanted to do, because basically you're told the settings, you're told the poses, and then you're basically a button pusher and a people organizer, which is obviously serving me well now. Then and then I got into cruise ship photography because I wanted to travel more,
Yeah.
And pretty much the same thing. You're told the settings, you're told the
Yep.
poses,
Yep.
and you just a button pusher. And that was
Yeah.
very, very long hours
Yep.
with not much reward, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I decided that wasn't for me either. And then I just that's when I kind of thought, right, I want to get back into fitness because
Yeah.
that's where I was the most happiest. That's
Yep.
what I was most happy doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I said goodbye to photography.
Look,
And I haven't
I
looked
think
back, to be honest.
I like the fact that you had the experience to do that. I don't like the fact that you're bullied. You know, that shits me. That we've only just met, but I would love to find out who those bullies are, and I'll go and pay them a visit.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks.
We'll, I don't stand for any of that kind of crap. There's enough of it out on social media, as most people have seen recently, that I just won't put up with anywhere. I just don't think it's necessary.
Not at all.
No, it's not. It's not needed. I mean, I've got an 8-year-old daughter who's at school at the moment, and one big thing they have at their school is there is zero tolerance on bullying as well. Kids have been taken out of the school because of it and that kind of stuff. We just won't. There's no need for it at all. There's no need. All it shows is somebody else's lack of compassion, lack of whatever it may be, a lack of just being a decent human being, and it's not on. Yeah, I love the fact though that you decided to get back into fitness. Even after having the bad experience with all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the bullying? You don't have to if you don't want to. Do you want to bring it up? Do you want to touch on it at all? Or is it something that's behind and you're like, you know what, doesn't matter, I'm here now and let's move?
I don't mind talking about it. I've made my peace with it. And to be honest, no matter what experiences we go through in life, it always builds the character that we are now. And I feel like it's actually done me a service because I now know not to be that kind of person. I also know how much words can hurt. So I am very conscious of being as inclusive to everyone as I can be, and being very conscious of what I say and how I say it, because I know how it feels when someone says some harsh words to you, and it's actually not needed at all to be nasty to each other, you know. And like you said, it's just people being. I think sometimes it's people being unaware or uneducated or forming their opinions on other people's opinions or how they're being brought up. Not necessarily on how they actually feel. And back in the school days, it was actually a massive part of being accepted. So it was either you are a bully or you are being bullied. And unfortunately, I wasn't the type of person to be a bully, so I was the one being bullied. And obviously, it was horrible at the time, and I was wishing days would go faster every single day. However, I feel like it's built me to who I am and built character, and I'm hopefully a better person for it.
Yeah. Something you said right at the beginning of when you started talking then was that you learned how to treat people. You learn how to speak to people. You learn how to, communicate with that kind of stuff. And I think that is one of the biggest skills that we transfer over to group exercise management. Yeah. You need to learn how to speak to so many different personalities. Yeah. And as you would, let me ask you this question. At the timetable where you manage, or the venue where you manage, how many instructors have you got on that, on your
we have permanent, I think it's 35 now, and we've got, including covers, around about 50.
Yep. So there's 50 individual different personalities you need to deal with. And while it sucks that you were bullied and sucked that all that kind of garbage went on, I'm saying on your behalf, I'm grateful that it did happen that way, because it's given you the skill set to be able to know what to and what not to say and how to treat people. You don't want to treat someone how you were treated, and you've got that skill set to be able to go, hey, you know what? Yeah, let's move forward and do this. So I appreciate it, even though it sucks. Yeah, even though it was a crappy time.
It does suck. And do you know what? Like, I still slip up sometimes, not because I want to be nasty or anything intentional. None of us are perfect. I try my best, but my intentions are always best intentions with love and care. And I wouldn't ever want anyone to feel the way that I felt. So I am very, very mindful, and occasionally, sometimes doesn't go that way, because you said, there's all these
Yeah.
different personalities, and sometimes the way I say things doesn't resonate with a different personality, and that's fine. We just work through it together, and I know better for next time. But every
Yeah.
single conversation that you really have is a learning curve with
Yeah.
someone who has a different personality to you. But I'm also a bit of an empath, so I feel other people's feelings too. So I like to
Yeah.
be very kind of compassionate where I can be. So
Yeah.
This is the GROUPEX podcast.
I like that because it shows different leadership, different managerial styles as well. Yeah. As we were talking about, with all the personalities you've got, you need to have the skills, or we need to have the skills as a GROUPEX manager to be able to deal with, every different style of person that is out there, conflict, the person that, you're okay, you can just go off and do your own thing. I need to hold your hand. I need to make sure I run everything past you. There is so much in the different range of skill set and leadership styles that we need, that what you've touched on there shows to me as well that you've got most of that down pat. And if you don't, you're also open to willing and learning about it and seeing it. As you said, if you've said something, oh dear, hang on, I shouldn't have said to that person. It's a learning curve, but you then go, oh, without realizing it, I need to change what I do, which means there's a different style of management or leadership you need to use in order to deal with that person. Because unfortunately, or fortunately, however you look at it, with GROUPEX, we need to have, I'm going to say, probably 20 different hats on to be able to manage everyone, everything, and everything that we do. It's like that, those magician guys that have the sticks and the plates spinning on them.
Oh yeah, they're spinning the plates.
You've got all of those things going at once, and it's like, oh crap, that's about to spit. Oh, that's about to fall off. I've got to go and fix that. You're constantly moving around and doing stuff, and it's the thing that I think I appreciate more and more as I delve into this with people is that not one of us gets it right all the time. Yep. We're always learning and always educating ourselves, but educating others at the same time, and that's part of the role that we are in. Yeah, okay, we've got to manage the timetable, the pays, the cover process, the feedback that comes through from cranky miss over there, and all of that kind of stuff. But then, hang on, instructor A and instructor B have had a fight, and now I've got to go in there and sort that out as well. And oh God, then the sound system shit itself, and oh Christ, now what? And that's just a Monday. Yeah. Oh, I've got the rest of the week to do this. God, my God. But all those things we learn, we evolve, we adapt, we learn really, really fast. If you don't have the skill set, and I'll say that the first time you went into being a GROUPEX manager, was it the hotel you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, the hotel. Now, they obviously saw something in you, otherwise you wouldn't have been given the role. They saw something in you. They saw a skill set that you may not have seen yourself when you first went in. Can you talk us through that experience on your first job as a GROUPEX manager? Run through what you were asked to do during that role, your time with that in the hotel.
Can I be completely honest?
Yeah.
I think we were all kind of jumped in the deep end because it was actually a brand new hotel.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
Everything, the team, the management, all the other facilities were all brand new. And it was a bit of, not an experiment, but the whole idea behind the hotel that it was a complete holistic experience. So it wasn't just you come and stay in this lovely hotel in lovely grounds. And by the way, they've got a gym. Yep. They had a spa on there on site. They had mental health professionals there. They had Reiki healers there. They had a whole smorgasbord of all these different types of professionals to deal with health and wellness in pretty much every aspect. Yeah. So it was a very, very new concept at the time. With the gym and the group fitness offerings, they wanted to not only offer that for the hotel guests. Thank you. I keep wanting to say members, but they weren't members. For the guests, but also wanted to, and this is why I say it was kind of an elite place, because they wanted to provide this special membership for local residents.
Wow. Yeah.
But because I say elite, because it was insane amounts of money every year. Yeah. Because they got everything. They had access to all these different professionals and facilities and services, and it was just really a unique experience for me because I was still quite new. I think I was actually in my first year of working as a gym instructor even and group fitness instructor.
Yeah.
So it was a kind of dive in the deep end.
Baptism of fire.
Yeah. And our manager was very gym focused. So he was very managerial of the staff and the personal training sessions and the gym side of things, but didn't really at the time, I guess, have much experience with the group fitness side of things.
Yeah.
And I did because I was certified in these different things already that we could offer. So, and I think that's kind of what led them to be like, okay, well, let's you have a look at the timetable and you can put this on and what classes can you teach and what classes can other people teach and, you know, go from there and good luck almost kind of thing. As I feel like a lot of group fitness managers end up experiencing. Yes. Sometimes it is just we need someone. You look like you might be able to handle it. Yeah. Do your best and see what happens.
It's so true. So true. Yeah. There's more and more people that I've been chatting to over the last couple of years as well in relation to this topic is that's almost how they started. You know, it was either, hey, we're opening this gym up. We need someone. Yeah, go for it. Yep, we've chosen you. You're a great instructor. Yeah, get in there. Or, oh, you know what? The GROUPEX manager has left. Who's our best instructor? Cool. It's yours. Get in there. And we don't have a skill set. You know, there's no right now. There is no Cert 3, Cert 4 where you go to learn how to be a GROUPEX manager. You know, there is your module training, your Cert 3 for PT, your Cert 4 for PT, you know, your strength and conditioning or whatever it may be. But there is no education as such on how to be a GROUPEX manager. There's the Les Mills online GFM seminar, which gives us an idea of, this is what we should be doing. Yeah, this is what you need to do to manage, but doesn't give you the skills on, say, how to manage. Yep. and that's the thing when we, as I was alluding to before and talking about before, the different managerial skills, the leadership skills, all that kind of stuff. When you first started, it would have been that whole, wow, okay, I'm going to have to learn this really, really fast and not even realize you were probably learning it as you were going along. You were just going, cool, yep, I've got to manage this. I've got to find the instructor for that. I've got to do that. I've got to and get the team running and get the programs up to speed and all that kind of stuff. But then also learn how to deal with guests coming in, not just the members coming in, because, well, they're a different type of person as well. Because when you're on holidays and you're a guest, you're expecting a whole lot more. But when you're a member and you're paying X amount of dollars, you're also expecting a hell of a lot more than what you would just normal from your council gym or whatever down the road and that kind of stuff. And there's so much of it where you go, oh, okay, yeah, cool, I'm here. Doing the best I can. Let's do this.
It's a learning curve, and I think in each different type of venue, it's also a learning curve. Because my next role then was the sports centre in a university, and that's a completely different type of demographic and environment. So I think every group fitness manager has had a variety of different experiences and really have had to then learn on the job a lot of the time. I feel.
Yeah. The thing that I enjoy the most about hearing that from you as well is that everyone has a different skill set. Yep. There may have been someone that had stepped in that had done it before, but would they have done as good a job as what you had done? Who knows? But the fact that you were open and willing to learn, take on new skills. And even then when you moved into the university gym as well, the skill set would have gone straight up again because you're then dealing with uni students as well as the demographic around that area as well, which would have been different to the high-end hotel and the guests that were there. Yeah, the basics and the as I say, like the online group fitness management seminar, the attendance, the timetabling, all of that kind of stuff that we learn how to do, you probably would have had down pat, or you were, getting better at that as you were moving through. But it's still every single day you learn. Okay, yep, cool. I can't do that anymore because that don't work. Yep. And it's one thing that I've realized over my years when I was a GROUPEX manager, but now as well, the more conversations you find out that what works today may not work in 3 months' time. Yep. You need to be that fluid with your learning and with who you're dealing with, because your 30 odd instructors that you have today, that whole team may change within 6 months for whatever reason, especially this day and age with people, not teaching full time like they were 10, 15, 20 years ago, even 5 years ago, they're teaching, some instructors were doing this for a full-time gig.
Yeah.
Now there's not as many, more and more are coming and going, and it's more of a part-time thing where you need to deal with all of that at the same time. So it's a massive learning curve.
Yeah.
As well.
And it has definitely changed massively. Yeah.
This is the GROUPEX podcast.
So that was in the uni gym where you were. When you came out to Australia, did you get a GROUPEX manager's job straight away, or were you just teaching when you first arrived out here?
No, I was just teaching. Obviously, I was on a working holiday visa, so that restricted me to working for a maximum of 6 months per employer. So I was a little bit limited as to who would accept me. So mainly it was casual roles, which suited me at the time because me and my partner were moving around doing house sitting and not really in any one suburb. So I was a casual group fitness instructor, casual gym instructor, casual waitress, casual anything that was going at the time. So I could earn some more money and go traveling. And that's kind of what my aim was. So I wasn't looking for any kind of managerial role at the time. I was just looking for as many savings as I could and as much experience as well. So when I came to Perth, I quickly found out that it's more beneficial to be in more clubs than it is to choose one location. Yeah. Because then I was able to network and, make connections through one or the other. I also quickly found out that the way we work over here in Australia, well, definitely in WA, I'm not sure about the East Coast because I've not worked there, but in WA, everybody kind of helps everyone. So in one of my first clubs, there was a group fitness manager of a different club coming in to teach a class at this club. And I was like, that's really weird. That would never happen in the UK or at the time when I just left. It might be different now, but that would just never happen. Everyone was so protective of their clubs, of their classes, of their members. They didn't want other people to come in, especially other group fitness managers from a different club to come in, teach, and then potentially take those members away. So that's something that I found was massively different over here. And actually that was really nice for me because I thought, actually, that's great because you can all work together as a team. And the more you do that, if you guys really need help, I'll help you. And then if I really need help, you'll help me. And it's all like a big family here in Perth. Obviously, it's easier to get on some books than others. I find it's a lot harder to get on the books, say, for example, for local government. Because there's a whole lot of extra stuff that they need.
Got to be done.
But I was just a casual everything when I first came here.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that about GROUPEX managers teaching at other venues. I think back when I was back in 2008 when I first jumped into the GROUPEX management role, I was, as soon as I became a GROUPEX manager, I couldn't work at any other. I was working for Fitness First back then. It was a chain, and I wasn't able to go and teach anywhere else. I could teach at any other Fitness First clubs, but I wasn't able to go and teach at an independent club or a council club anywhere else around by. It was you've stepped up into management now. No, you can only do that as an instructor. Yeah, it wasn't really like, yeah, cool, go for it. But you did because back then that was how I was making money. I was teaching classes and doing PT, so I'd pick up work anywhere, like what you were doing. But I was like, right, I'm living in Sydney. I've got to pay rent. Holy crap! That means I've got to teach 30 classes this week. Righto, let's go. And so you did everything. But it's nice to see. And I'll be honest, I don't know if it is that way over here in the east side now, where if you are a GROUPEX manager, you can teach at others, or whether that was just a Fitness First thing. I'm not entirely sure on that. I should probably find that out. But I like the fact that over where you are in Perth on the west side, that you are seeing that, and you're seeing that. As you said, if that club needs help, then they can get it from another club nearby. The clubs all work together because at the end of the day, yes, we've got our own members, but I think more and more these days, members are members of a gym because of its location, not because of the people that are there. Yeah, the people that are there is like the added cream on top and going, yeah, that's brilliant, love that. But if you go back to the late 90s or early 2000s, members would follow instructors. And if that instructor left here and went to teach over there, then that member would also go. I think those days, and especially because the industry is flooded with so many different places where you can go to train these days, it's ridiculous. You sneeze, you blink, and there's another, the same another 20 party studios that have opened up type thing. There's so much offering these days that I think members go, right, I'm here because you offer A, B, C, D, E. Yep. The F being the instructor, yeah, cool, it's an added bonus on what's going on. But knowing that instructors will be able to work together and teams of different venues are able to work together, I think is a massive, huge positive for us as an industry.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I definitely know that there are a few, say, for example, if there's 2 locations in the same suburb and there's an instructor that goes from one to the other, definitely there is still that pull from the members to follow that instructor. So that does still happen.
Okay.
But yeah, potentially not. Like you said, there's so many different types of gyms or boutiques that are opening at the moment all the time. Even now, like there's so many plans of new spots opening.
Yeah.
I think it's just giving people variety. I know people with like 3 different memberships.
Yeah.
I don't know how they afford it, but
look, I had 7 years of not teaching, not doing anything because I've had 2 hip replacements, which I've mentioned on here before. But when I got back into it, which was in August of last year, I had to pay a gym membership for the first time in 24 years. Holy shit. Yeah. Oh my God. How much? What? What am I? Okay. Yep. Fair enough. But I'm paying for the level of service that I expected. So I've got my head around it properly and gone, oh, yeah, okay, I can do that per week. What, per week? Holy crap. Yeah. I had to take my brain a bit of time because for so many years as an instructor or, working in the industry, it was, oh yeah, that's free. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, no, you've got you work here, you get free membership. You can come and train whatever you want. But not on that. because I was an instructor, I was looking after my own fitness while I was training anyway. Yeah. But then, from the other side, it was a bit of a holy moly. That's, But, you said you touched on the whole, you have members that have different memberships in different places. It's true. Some are spending a hell of a lot of money per week, per month on their fitness. There's others that don't want to spend anything because, that's too expensive. But yet they'll go and spend that amount of money on a Friday or Saturday night out. Anyway, that's a whole nother kettle of fish.
That is a whole nother kettle. Priorities.
Yes. Yeah. We'll leave that one alone because I could talk about that for years. But, and so whereabouts are you working now? What centre are you at the moment?
I'm at a local government leisure centre.
Cool. And how did that opportunity come up? Was that something you applied for, something they saw your skill set and went, oh, you get in here, we want you? How did that sort of come about for you?
It was actually a bit of a happy accident. So I was at a different location, north of the river. Yep. One of my instructors asked me if I was at a full-time job, but they'd asked me if I wanted to go on the books at my current place.
Yep.
To become an aqua instructor and help them out because they were desperate for aqua instructors. By the way, I think the case is the same for every centre that has a pool. They are desperate for aqua instructors because we are a rare breed.
Yes.
And I was like, oh yeah. I was like, I'm full time, but I'll inquire. Who do I need to get in touch with? And she's like, well, actually, we don't have a permanent person in that role at the moment. They are currently hiring. I was like, interesting. Yeah. I was actually in charge of the equipment tender for the club that I was at that time. And one of the tenders were for equipment they had at this centre. So I sneakily asked the sales rep to take me for a tour so I could check out the equipment. And Brilliant. At the same time, I checked out the centre and to see if it was somewhere that I wanted to work. And it was very new and very shiny and very big. And I got an amazing feeling about it straight away.
Awesome.
The guy that I spoke to in the gym really knew his stuff about all the equipment. Obviously, I was kind of finding out about the equipment as well because, there's no guarantees.
Yeah.
And I made the decision to apply. I was like, when you get that really good feeling, you're like, I'd love to work here. I applied and I was very, very fortunate to be offered the position. So, I haven't looked back. Like I've been working there for 4.5 years now. I actually started the week before closure for
Oh.
COVID. I was there for 8
Yes, I've got a
days.
job. Oh, no, I don't have a job.
We were still working. I was actually
Yeah.
working full time while we were closed.
Yep.
We had other tasks, but that's another story. But yeah, so I was very, very fortunate to be
Nice.
offered the position, and I
It's
actually
almost
I love it.
right place, right time, right everything. Yep, lined up. The universe sort of said, "Oi, you know about this, but I want you over here. Come over here, please. Thank you very much."
Yeah,
Yes.
and it was divine timing, and I'm very, very, very grateful for that opportunity.
Yeah. So
This is the GROUPEX podcast.
wow,
Yeah.
nice. So on that, what is your most favorite thing within group exercise management? What is the thing that floats your boat, ticks your box, and you go, that's the part of this job I love? That when you get up on a Sunday, or we get up Monday morning at 4:30, as we do, because we're group X managers that love what we do. When you walk into that studio for 5:30, what is it that makes you go, that? I love that.
About the management side,
Yeah.
to be honest, it's a bit of everything. I actually quite like a good challenge.
Yep.
And I find that the variety that group fitness management gives you, that it all comes in the form of a variety of different challenges.
Yeah.
And it is that multitasking. It's, getting the feedback from the members, feedback from your staff, seeing the smiling faces of the members walking out of a class, getting that feedback. Making people happy through fitness is there's so many things I actually can't pinpoint one thing.
No, look, I appreciate that, because that's part of why I wanted to, when we had that chat, and I said, you know what, come on, because there's so much we can delve into. I mean, I'm not going to take up 4.5 hours of your time. I could probably sit here and talk for hours. People know that. Anyone that's engaged with this have gone, Tone, I thought this was a 25-minute podcast, not a 24-hour podcast. Hey, whatever. But we could go into it for hours and hours. But and that's why I appreciate what you said, because there's not. Now, I say this with respect. You're not a specialist in one area. Yeah, you're a specialist in all areas, or you've got your skill set around all the areas that we need to be a Group X manager. And to me, part of why I wanted to do this series and chat with so many people was because we all have unique skills and expertise and knowledge that we can share, across the industry. Because when you said before that the Group X manager was working at the other one, that to me, inside me, I'll light up and go, you know what, that to me is what group exercise is about. Yeah, we've got to service the member, but we're still a community ourselves.
Yeah.
And more Group X managers need to be confident and comfortable in talking to other Group X managers and sharing and whatever we need to do in that space to make it better for what we're doing. So I'm going to choose at least 2 or 3 different topics that I'm going to delve into you with and go, right, okay, let's talk about this, because I want to understand from you your knowledge, I suppose, the way that you handle certain situations, so we can share that with people that are watching as well. Yeah. So if I look at my list here and I go, righto, decision making as an example. Yeah. So let's say that management above have turned around to you and said, right, we're looking at attendance across the board. We need it to increase. Yeah. We're looking at, and I'm just going to throw, because I don't want to use exact figures on what's going on.
Yeah.
We're at 30% attendance at the moment, and we want it to get to 40% attendance. What do you do? How do you go about your process of getting buy-in from your team? How does that decision-making process happen from that level down to that person that teaches Thursday night at 5:30?
Yeah, so it's a variety of things. Obviously, when it comes to council-run facilities, there's a lot of restrictions and limitations. So there's some things that you actually can't do. So some of the decision-making comes from within those parameters.
Okay. Yep.
What I like, I try to work as close as I can with my team, and I always show my gratitude, and I know that they're all coming in and doing the best they can, but we also have the opportunity to always be better. So like we were saying earlier, there's always a learning and a growing opportunity. So I try to encourage, I try to encourage more connection with the members,
Yep.
maybe to get the instructors to start learning people's names, to make people feel welcome. And
Yep.
I'm quite big on that, because when I first, as a participant, went into a gym and had one of the personal trainers say hello to me with my name, like, "Oh, hi, Shelley, how are you?"
Yeah.
I was dumbfounded. I actually turned around. I'm like, who, me? You talking to me? I'd never even met the guy, and obviously he'd seen me scan in my name and my photo had popped up, and that's how he knew. But that gave me such a feel-good factor for the rest of my workout. I'm like, oh my God, that he knew my name and he said hello to me personally. And I really want that for our members. I really want that connection. And I feel like the better connection our instructors have with our members, the better that we make our members feel, the more they're going to refer their friends, which then boosts numbers. And that's where, I mean, you've mentioned it several times, group fitness is one of the biggest retention tools that we can use in a gym. And when you work out with someone else, you tend to stay for longer. You tend to enjoy your workouts more. We also try and incorporate bring a friend for free as much as we can within the limitations as well. So, for example, when we do our Les Mills launch days, we will include a bring a friend for free, so that people can bring, their best friends, their family, their neighbors, their colleagues, the stranger they meet in the street and they just want to, bring them in. We encourage that so that we can try and share how good it is to work out with other people and how much more fun it is. And through those kind of strategies, we hope to then obviously grow the numbers.
Cool. Yep. I appreciate that.
That's one of them anyway.
Yeah. Let me flip that on its head completely around.
Sure.
You need to cancel a class. Yeah.
Right.
Through a certain situation, you need to cancel a class, or management above have said, we need to cut costs. So you're looking across your timetable and you've found the class that's underperforming the most. You've done your time factor adjustments and all that kind of stuff. And you've gone, you know what? Yes, that Thursday afternoon at 4:30 is sort of sitting in the same as that Monday 9:30 because of where it is with the shoulder slot, whatever it is. You've worked it all out. There's that one class that is underperforming and needs, righto, what do we do? How do you handle that? What would be your process of going through? If it sounds like a job interview, doesn't it?
Like interrogation.
I'm going to turn the spotlight on. Hang on a second. No, the reason I ask it is I think we all handle situations differently. Yeah. And what I'm trying to get at is how you handle it, to be able to share that with some others that may be going through something similar, who aren't quite sure how to handle, or have tried something and has failed, that kind of stuff. So it's not, I'm not trying to drill you. There's no pass or fail on this type of stuff. Yeah. It's more sharing your knowledge and your expertise with that. So if management above you said, or, you realize, you look at it and it's like, okay, dude, you should be getting 30, you're getting 5.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few different, I've had to do this a few times now, several times, in fact, and there's a few different reasons why that could happen. Sometimes it is just the wrong program, or it's the wrong time slot for that program. It might be the wrong instructor for the clientele that we have, there's so many different reasons why it might be underperforming. What we try to do is help improve numbers first. So we might spotlight that class, or bring a friend for free passes. We will obviously chat to the instructor as well. How are you finding this class? Are you enjoying it? Because if the instructor isn't enjoying it, then the members aren't enjoying it. And if their members aren't enjoying it, that's what might contribute to them not turning up anymore. Yeah. So I wouldn't like to obviously cut a class straight away unless it was a direct, not order, request from upper management. We'd always try to save it or adjust where possible first. But I mean, if we do need to cancel it, usually it's, I mean, I've been an instructor where my class has been cancelled. They tried something new, it didn't work, and I was the one that was trying it, and they're like, "Oh, really sorry, but it's got to come off." I'm like, "Yeah, do you know what? I understand.
Yeah.
I understand." And most people do. When
Yep.
they're only getting half a dozen people to their class, they know, and you do speak to them about it, like, "Oh,
Yeah.
let's see if we can try and get some more numbers to your class."
Yep.
But yeah, ultimately, it's almost like a mutual decision.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, it's
But yeah.
there's as you said, you mentioned as well, there's many factors as to why a class might not be working. Yeah, it could be the program, it could be the time, the instructor, the demographic. The instructor just doesn't gel with those members at that time slot. There are so many different factors that we've got to take into consideration, as you said, when making the decision on where we go, what we do. And I think that in itself leads to GROUPEX managers understanding that as well, and having that as a skill, and not just sort of going, "Oh, well, your class is underperforming, right? We're getting rid of you."
Yeah.
You really have to sit back, look at the trend, look at the attendance, look at, is it seasonal? Is it, is it just because it's cold or something, or is it just because it's really hot, or is it, oh wow, is it, what, things have changed, or school, or whatever the hell it may be. You've got to be able to look at every single angle, but then also knowing the skill set to use to approach it properly.
Yeah.
Yep. Because going straight in there and saying to your instructor, right, that's it, if they're teaching other classes on your timetable as well, and that one class that you're taking away from them manages to, that one class helps them pay their rent. Oh shit. Yep. I don't want to get rid of that for you. I need to try and help. I need whatever it may be. But at the same time, you don't want to try and fit a square peg in a round hole.
Mm.
Yep. So it's looking at everything to make sure that you have the right fit.
Yeah. And you know what? Sometimes you don't get it right. Sometimes you might try something, a new program, new class, new time slot, new instructor, and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just takes, and actually that was one of my interview questions, what would you do if this?
Yep.
I'm like, well, I'd like to at least try something. Or if you
Yeah.
guys wanted to at least try something, we could.
Yep.
And then you work from there,
Yeah.
Like you said before, we're all human. Sometimes it's trial and error.
Yeah.
And also what might work for us where I work might not actually work, or might be different 5 miles or 5 kilometers down the road. Different clubs attract different demographics. There's just so many variables. I think that's probably one of the main challenges. I feel is that at the moment, especially, there's so many variables that affect the timetable. The key is just kind of doing the best you can. And I really find, like, say for example, if you did have to take something off or change something with an instructor or whatever it might be, I feel like communication is the key. Like, if you're communicating well with your team or with the instructor and they know the reasons why, I feel like they're a lot more open to the decisions. Or to helping you improve the numbers in that, or helping build a class, or we like to cross promote classes as well. And actually that forms part of our training. So we'll do training a few times a year where I'll get a handful of instructors to teach a couple of tracks of their chosen program, so that some of the other instructors who might never have even attended a class in that program knows what it feels like. And then if they get a member come up to them, say that, for example, they're a Zumba instructor, and a member comes up to them and says, "Look, I'm really struggling with balance or stability or flexibility," then they can say, "Oh, actually, I did a body balance class once, and I feel that would really help you, or why don't you try yoga? That would be really good for flexibility." And, so they can cross promote each other's classes because they know what it feels like. And I feel like that's important as well.
This is the GROUPEX podcast.
I'm going to throw something else at you then. Let's say that you are going to remove a class. And your instructor does what we don't want instructors to do, but some do. Not that we want them to. Some instructors just do this. There's all of a sudden there's conflict. "Oh, you're just trying to get rid of me. You're just. They turn it around and it's become a personal attack on you as a GROUPEX manager. How do you handle conflict? What do you do to address that situation? How would you go about addressing that situation?
Yeah, look, I just try and understand it from their point of view. There's always two sides to the story, and obviously it can be hurtful, when you're having a class taken away from you, and it's hard because obviously it's out of your hands sometimes. So I just try and see it from their point of view, and you've got to understand, and you've got to tell them that you understand the way they're feeling as well. And I feel like if they're seen to be heard, and they can see that actually they know what it feels like from your point of view, their angst goes away a little bit, and then they are again open to more understanding. And I'm always super apologetic, when we have to make changes and take classes off. I'm always super apologetic, and I'm like, I understand how you feel, and I know that it's not ideal when you might be relying on that class as part of your income. However, these are the reasons why we've tried X, Y, and Z. It's not worked. We have to find another program, or we have to find another thing to fill that slot. Because unfortunately, and it is our ratepayers, the council-run facilities, it's the ratepayers that are paying that membership for that class to be on there, and we've got to be responsible for that as well. Although it is really difficult, I find that if you show that understanding and that compassion, it's never going to be nice, but it kind of
it's
helps.
Part of the job, isn't it? It's part of what we've got to do. And I think it's and if anyone's watching that wants to write in, please do so. But I think it's harder at a council-run facility than it would be at a independent-run mum and dad style gym that's out there. And I say that because you also have, in council, you've got so many levels up that you've got coming down on you. And if someone doesn't like what's going on, they're going to complain to councillors. Councillors can feed it back down. And no matter what, you change it because I need to be voted in next year. That's the type of, we see it all the time. It's what it is. And that's just that environment in that regards. Yeah. But if you go in, as you said earlier, and you sort of alluded to, you go in with facts rather than feelings. Yeah. The instructor has really nothing to come back to you on. Yeah, it hurts them, but hey, class is underperforming. We've tried this, and this. We still haven't gotten anything. The best course of action for us is to remove it. We tried a bit of column A, a bit of column B, a bit of column C, a bit of column D, and then, we even got another instructor in, but the other instructor didn't work either. So unfortunately, we've got to remove it. It sucks, as you said, but it allows you to remove yourself from the situation as a GROUPEX manager and go, hey, here's fact. Yep. I'm really sorry. Can you be your best friend? You've got to have those bloody ugly, oh God, I hate those. Telling your best friend that you need to remove a class from them because, it's not working. Yep. They may be a gun instructor on another day at another time slot and it's pumping. But unfortunately, I remember that conversation someone had with me on a Thursday night, 5:30 cycle class. Tony, what's going on? We were getting 27, now we're getting 5. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Monday night, I'd be packed out. 42 bikes, 60 people rock up and, they don't get in. It's time slot, it's instructor, it's all of that kind of stuff. When you look at it, sometimes it is the day of the week, whatever. But that conversation was hard and I had to cop it on the chin and go, oh, okay, righto. Yeah, I've lost the class. Luckily for me, I was a PT as well, so I just threw it a PT client. So, managed to make up elsewhere anyway. But it's still that I remember those conversations, and it was hard for the GROUPEX manager to have because we're all mates. We all care for each other, especially when we're such a close-knit community as well. It does hurt. You've just got to be able to go, yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah, it sucks, but yeah, there's going to be an opportunity at some point for something else to change. I'll be able to give you another class then, or whatever the situation may be. But we've just got to, get through and
and that's the thing. There's a lot of swings and roundabouts happening, especially at the moment. People's lifestyles are changing drastically. The expenses of life is going up and people are having to move around, maybe get permanent part-time, permanent full-time. So a lot of people have gone FIFO because obviously that's where the money is. And pretty much the only occupation that where you can actually afford to live at the minute, probably.
Yes.
And like you said, there was a lot of people prior to now that used to be full-time group fitness instructors who actually now can't afford to do that anymore. and or are getting to an age where their body isn't physically able to be able to do that anymore. So people's lifestyles are changing all the time. And you know, you might lose one class at one place, but you more than likely going to be picking up something else somewhere else. And I mean, there's heaps more gyms and locations that you can work at now anyway. So really it's the world is your oyster. The fitness world is your oyster.
This is the GROUPEX podcast.
Now, leads me on to recruitment and instructor, team building, that kind of stuff. What is your experience with it like over in the West at the moment? Are you finding there's a heap of instructors? There's not a lot of instructors. The instructors we've got are just now trained in 30 different programs. What are you hearing and what are you seeing over there at the moment?
There's a bit of a mixture of everything, to be honest. What I do find is that, there's a variety of different reasons why people will or won't go and work at a centre. Location is one. Expense is another. The recruitment process is one. Obviously, the programs, the times of day. And with a lot of people getting second jobs, availability is also a challenge because obviously group fitness classes are all on at the same time. They're all on in the early morning, they're all on in the mid-morning, they're all on in the evening, and they're weekend mornings. So although there are instructors out there, I feel like nowadays we have to be a little bit more strategic as to how we get them. So, for example, most places over here in WA, or Perth at the moment anyway, and I'm not sure about the East Coast, obviously, but in WA, a lot of the centres, like I mentioned earlier, struggle for aqua instructors. So in the last couple of years, we've run an aqua course, and we're actually hoping to do another one this year as well. So we can try and train up the local talent, or anyone that would love to be an aqua instructor, by the way. The course coming soon.
Link down below.
Can then train up and do you know what, would then have work wherever. And I feel like that's where we're going. And I'm actually seeing that in other programs as well. For example, the swim school programs, I'm finding a lot of them are now looking to run courses and then use the trainees and then give them work at the end of it. So I don't feel like, for example, when I first arrived in Perth, you had to be on like seconds after a cover was posted to get a class. Otherwise you'd be just missing out. And you had to be an instructor in this type of program because every single gym, like for example, body pump, every single gym has body pump on there like several times a day is what it seemed like back in the day. And if you weren't a body pump instructor, you would get covers for sure, but not as many. So and that was the case. Like there seemed to be way more instructors than there were classes. Well, now I feel like it's going the other way.
The other way around.
And not necessarily that there's less instructors, but they're also more selective.
100%.
And that's due to lifestyle changes. Distance traveled. So there's a whole variety of things that will affect recruitment as well.
I think that thing that happened a week after you started your job changed the I don't like talking about it too much, but changed the whole landscape for the fitness industry in a big way. And it forced instructors to go, I need full-time work because if this happens again, I'm screwed. So we've gone out and gotten full-time work. We've gone out and gotten different style of work. And it's become the same amount of instructors are still there, but our availability of what we're willing to teach as well has gotten a lot less. And I also think that where before it was, I'm a venue, I've got a class, I'm offering this amount of money. You know what? If you don't take it, somebody else will. That has also changed as well. Now, instructors have the upper hand, where instructors are virtually coming to you and saying, right, what's on offer? No, I'm not interested in that. You're not paying me enough, or, no, I don't want that class, or I want to. It's almost swap where we need to play into that for instructors in order to get them because of what's happened in the landscape. I will say to GROUPEX managers, though, you may have to have those conversations with those instructors. You may need to pay a little bit more. I'm not going to talk about pay because, No. But I've got to keep reminding myself, Tony, don't go down there. Don't go down that path. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Don't touch it. Yeah, you may have to entertain those kind of things in order to get instructors on. But one of the big things that I would say to any Group X manager is, where are you looking to find your instructors? Where are you looking to find a brand new instructor that isn't one of the ones that's been around for 5, 10, 15 years? What are you doing to find them? I was lucky enough in one of the earlier episodes that hasn't gone out yet. It will be coming out in a couple of weeks' time from when we're recording this. Someone from the US. Now, the US market is completely different to the Aussie market.
Really?
I sat there and had a chat to this lady, Trey, and the way that she said to me that they go around finding instructors at a restaurant, the servers. Yeah. If someone at a restaurant is flamboyant and has a little bit of, cheekiness about them or whatever it may be, she asks them, hey, you interested in being a Group X manager? She will have that conversation with them and say, hey, have you thought about this?
Yeah.
Plant the seed. Because over there, if they are a waiter or a waitress or they're, host, hostess, whatever it may be in that regards, they're casual. They may be looking for extra work. And it blew my mind because I'd never, in my wildest dreams, had never thought of saying to someone who was serving me in a restaurant, who was a bit cheeky or a little bit, had that really outgoing personality, hey, have you ever thought about being a Group X instructor? It's not something we normally do, is it? It's not a conversation you'd normally have. So that I can see could actually work. If as Group X managers, we need to have that style of skill set as well to get out of our comfort zone, but also look out of the norm of, here's the covers list that all other gyms have had. I'm just going to ring all these people, or, I'll chat to my instructors. Who do you know that's an instructor that's already? How about we look at people that aren't instructors? How about we look at those people that are in the front row of the classes, or, as when I was chatting to Giles from New Zealand as well, one of his things, they go to a local jiu-jitsu place to try and find their combat instructors. They're trying the local dance studio to try and find, instructors, that kind of stuff. That's all a little bit different to where we'd normally go. I think almost as group exercise instructors and as managers and in the industry, we've forgotten how to find new instructors. Back when I was recruited, or back when I had that shoulder tap to say, hey, I think you can, I was on the bike in the studio. I was a participant, and someone had said, oh, you know what, I think. Now, if that person hadn't, I wouldn't be here. If that person hadn't said anything to me, who knows where I'd be, but I definitely wouldn't be here talking to you today. Yeah? And I appreciate that so much. But my point with this is that as Group X managers, I think we need to start to widen our blinkers a bit to look in different places. Yeah. If you've got to go to the chemist, have a look at the person that's standing behind the counter. Hey, if they're one of those people that's like, oh, next please, come and wants to have a chatty chat, maybe they are. Hey, have you ever thought about this? I think we need to get comfortable as Group X managers in having that weird conversation. Yeah, the person. Well, not that there's usually a checkout person at Coles or Woolies these days, because it's all self-scan and do it yourself. But if there is someone there, they've always got to click, scan, whatever. They're not happy. Oi, have you thought about doing something else? You want a casual work? There can be virtually anywhere we look, we can find someone that we may be able to recruit to come on and teach. Not only that, but I think the whole process of mentoring them, helping them through that whole process. There's another episode that's coming out. I mean, I've recorded like 6 this week, so there's a lot of people that I've chatted to, and we've got a whole lot coming up. Yeah, coming through. Another one that maybe listeners would have heard to by the time this comes out as well, is with Les Mills in New Zealand. Yeah, in where Giles is at. It's not a Les Mills thing that they do and they send out to all clubs. This is what Giles is doing within his club, I believe. It was, as a participant, you're coming to the gym and you're already paying something for your membership. Yep. We understand that to go and do a course, to go and, whether it's be a Les Mills instructor or whether, it's just be a Zumba instructor or whatever it may be, any instructor, there's costs involved. Yep. As a venue, I don't know whether council venues would be able to do it, but it's as venues, you can offer to actually pay all of that training for that person. So you can offer to pay for, we'll just use body pump as the example we were referring to before, offer to pay for their body pump training. offer to pay for their gel so that they can get in and they can then start teaching. But part of what they're paying, they pay off per week because they're already paying a gym membership. Yep. So you turn off the gym membership and you turn on the paying off this debt membership, which is the venue still getting money, yet you just have got to outlay it at first. But it's not only for the course, it's not only for gel, but it also includes mentoring. Yep. So that as a venue who's put that person on, you also have one of your gun instructors that you're able to pay as well with what this person is paying over a certain period of time to have them mentor that newbie all the way through. Because we know this day and age, people that mentor other people want to be paid. Yep. Somewhere along the way, from when I started in 2003, 2004, there were so many people like, yeah, come and team teach with me. Let's do this together. Let's get in there and do it. Something happened. I don't know where. Something along the way happened where, oh, no. And if I'm mentoring you, I need to be paid. No. And you're not coming in to teach my class with me. That attitude needs to stop. That attitude needs to change. And part of this process that Giles is talking to me about was, they have to pay that off over a 12-month period. Yeah, they can also go and teach somewhere else, but it's still, they've got to pay it off over 12 months. They can teach wherever they want. The more they teach, cool. You know what? The more income they can get, the quicker they can pay that off, not a problem. Yep. They don't pay it, you send it off to a debt collector. Yep. Simple as. But they've got to pay it. They've got to pay it back no matter what. But it's a way for us as an industry to get more instructors in. Yeah, that blew my head as well because I've never seen, never heard of that type of stuff when there's the biggest pain point we have at the moment is where do I find more instructors? Where are they coming from? Yeah. Yeah. Where do you find your new instructor? Where would you find a new instructor if you were to go, well, okay, yep, Tone, yeah, there's no one else in my area. What do you do?
We're actually getting quite a lot of success with participants at the moment, to be honest.
Good.
Yeah. We've had one of our biggest success stories. We had a girl, I won't actually say her name, but she started off as a participant of our gym. Yep. She's lost a heap of weight, became an avid group fitness instructor attendee, and she's now a body combat instructor for us. And
awesome.
A lot of the members that still attend have seen that entire journey and are just so inspired by that. We've got probably about 6 or 7 different participants at the moment, either registering for courses or showing their interest for courses if we don't have anything at the moment. Cool. And then inquiring as to, what does it take to be an instructor? What do I need to do? What qualifications, first aid, CPR, all that kind of stuff. What happens after? What happens, between getting certified and getting on stage? So we're like I was originally a body combat fanatic. Yep. We're getting a few of those in several different programs at the moment as well. So they're probably the most immediate ones because obviously they're also local. I'm in a club that's a little bit away from the city and I don't think many instructors would be willing to travel as far. Everyone's a little bit more selective nowadays, which I completely understand. So at the moment it's mainly participants, but I mean, even one of my other group fitness manager friends held not a recruitment event, but it was a taster event for a Les Mills program and managed to drum up a lot of interest with that. So we're starting to look into other strategies to try and do that. And like I said, by trying to offer courses and we've now signed actually a new contract with Les Mills where we're able to work on that training program as well a little bit easier. A range of things.
Look, I like it, and the reason I wanted to talk to you about it, to share that kind of stuff, that there's no right or wrong. There's no right or wrong way to recruit. There's just what works for you.
Try and error.
If you're a GROUPEX manager that's sitting there and is like, I can't find anyone, try something different. Go to a restaurant. Where somebody going out for dinner, whatever it may be. I'm going to a concert tonight with my wife, and you know what? If I was a GROUPEX manager and I saw someone that was having a ball, it'd be like, you're actually really loving this. You're enjoying yourself. What do you do? Okay, cool. Yeah, but that's me. I'll talk to a leaf from a tree.
Yeah.
There's a lot of GROUPEX managers that are very reserved and be like, oh, no, I couldn't go and talk to them. You've got to sometimes put that side of you aside and just be a little bit out
Put it
there.
out there, yeah.
But in the same time, I'd say, you know what? You're a GROUPEX manager. You love to be in front of people. So a GROUPEX instructor, I should say. You love to be in front of people. So you're going to have a bit of that whole, hey, look at me, look at me. Go and have a conversation. Go and have that conversation with the stranger, and you just never know. You never know who could be your next gun instructor that you can
exactly.
teach.
And even we've been in interviews recently. There was a guy that I interviewed for gym instructor role, and he was so confident and happy and talkative. We're like, oh, hey, are you a group fitness instructor?
Yeah.
No, well, maybe you should be, because
you now are. Yeah.
you are pretty much a group fitness instructor in the making.
Yeah. No, I love that. Shelley, there's one more question that I want to ask you. So I'm mindful of your time, and I don't want to be. I've got to be mindful of these, as I said on most of them these days. I could talk for hours. Yeah. I've got to make sure that people listen and engage, and then don't want to go, oh, 30 minutes in, I'm turning off. I've got to make sure that we keep them short, sharp, and to the point. Have you got any advice for any new managers? And if so, what advice would you give to someone that's new to GROUPEX management?
I think the main thing is to be personable and to communicate and be compassionate with your team. Just really care for them. Look after your team, look after the members, and find that good balance between the two. Because obviously, the members will always demand things without knowing the parameters and limitations. And then obviously the group fitness instructors are the ones that create and deliver these amazing experiences for your members. And I just feel that the more you look after your team and the more that you show them that they are valued, they are acknowledged, their hard work is acknowledged. If you've got someone arriving super early and staying super late to chat to their members, acknowledge that and thank them for that. And I think that really is the key. Continual development. If you can, do regular trainings with your team. Obviously, it's really hard with group fitness teams because everybody's got different roles, different other jobs. They've got kids, they've got different lifestyles. So to get them all together in one spot at the same time is almost impossible. It's like herding cats. But the more obviously that you try and do team building activities with them as well is really, really good as well. And I just feel like, acknowledging and valuing your team and also the members is really the key. Like you can't come in to being a group fitness manager and be a dictator. You can't come in and swipe a whole heap of classes off the timetable. You can't swipe a load of instructors off. Just look after your team.
No, I appreciate that, and I think it sort of sums up the topic of what we've been talking about today, which is perfect. It's communication. Yeah, anything can be sorted out with conversation. Yeah. Anything at all can be fixed. Anything that needs to happen has to start from two people talking, or one person starting to say something and someone else listening. Yeah, it's vital. And I think it's one of the key skills for GROUPEX managers to really hone in on to make sure that they're mastering, because without it, if you haven't got it, the things are going to be failing. And there's probably a reason why your GROUPEX department isn't working properly. And sometimes you need to look within to be able to see that and not just go, oh, well, it's got to be out there somewhere. Sometimes just having that sit back moment and reflecting and going, oh, hang on, I need to do that a bit better, can sort a whole lot of stuff out. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for coming on and spending, an hour, a bit of your afternoon with me here. I've honestly appreciated it. And continue to do what you're doing for us in our industry, because you're obviously good at it. And
we try our best. That's all I can say. I'm not going to claim to be perfect, because I definitely am not, but I will always try my best. And like I said earlier, learning is the key, and being open to change and adaptation and, overcoming those challenges and doing the best you can. I think as long as people know that you're trying to do the best for them, that's ultimately the key. And thank you so much for having me on. It's been an absolute honor to be part of this podcast, and what you're doing is also amazing. Bringing us all together and talking about these things, I think is really important. And I think we definitely need to do it more. So thank you for your role in what you're doing.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Cool. See you soon.